Hey guys, no number episode yet because I can't give it to you, but welcome. This episode is actually one that I've been extremely looking forward to for a while because I knew that it was gonna eventually happen. I knew that Mike Pearson is gonna find himself here in our podcast.
And we're here live at Wind Up San Francisco.
Yeah, on Friday. By the way, we're running on fumes, and so is Mike.
But we're actually in an intercontinental hotel.
The Intercontinental. Great view, by the way.
Great view. It's not the typical Motel 6 that we find ourselves in.
Motel 6. Look at that view.
What kind of budget are you guys on? This is good.
Oh,
I know, we're just putting everything on Jay's credit card right now.
Well done.
Everything is just on credit. All right, so I guess before we do start, I would like, Mike, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. Mike Pearson. I'm a watch person, and I've been out of watches for the last 3 years. So you might know me from Bremont. That was a decade of my life. I launched that for North America. Before that, I was with a very, very small brand. And after that, I've basically been a dad, just figuring out what's right for the kids, the family, but also finding my passion. And that's kind of brought me back to watches with Zodiac. So I'm their new brand director, which has come out of left field, but the last year's kind of brought me closer to them and to watches, and I believe in their story. And so hopefully we'll talk about that today. But yeah, I'm an English guy who lived in America for way too long, and now I'm back.
So actually, see, I was about to ask him where that sexy accent is from, but there you go, folks. English.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Michigan. That's the accent you get from Michigan. So definitely someone who kickstarted and actually, in my opinion, was the person who's the reason that Bremont is so big in North America. Like, you can, as modest as you are, I would definitely credit you that. And not only that, but I knew Mike from multiple watch shit. Like, he was in Timeless, he was in Tudor, he was in Wolf. He was also in Zoom. So
Oh mate, the last few years has been crazy.
that jump to Zoom was a little bit of a stretch when we were
Kinda. It was when COVID kicked in. It was like, I'm done with watches, and especially because COVID was so nuts and I wanted to just be part of the community.
Yeah.
And so I just did a massive about face. But being at Zoom during COVID, I saw the world in a very different world,
way.
Whole new skill set. But I also saw COVID through the lens of Zoom, which was, the lens to the world. So I learned a lot about myself. I learned how to use a computer and not just play Gardenscape on my phone, but it was good. It was brilliant. And also through it, I actually didn't realize how much of the reach of the watch world has in tech world. So I was meeting watch collectors all over the place doing Zoom calls. Helping people do this, that, and the other. He ended up talking about watches because it's a massive thing that brings, it showed me how much I love about them, but also we're all geeks out there.
You ever do that thing where you're in a Zoom call and you kind of purposely scratch your face to show off your watch to catch the attention of any potential watch collectors?
It was more of I saw what they were doing, and then if it was the level that I thought it was, I'd reach for one just under the camera. It was either going to be G-Shock, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'd bring out something cool, ish.
You had the process down.
Yeah.
So actually, another question is, when you were at Zoom, were you part of the data breach?
Let's talk about it. That's what all our listeners want to know.
Look at that. He didn't expect that.
All these years together, that was the first thing he said. It was your fault. 100%. I came after. I just came for the shares. No. No, it was weird. There was a lot of people who wasn't understanding what Zoom was, but I learned a lot about all that. But it wasn't easy for some people to understand how this was going to be a massive part of their lives. But from yoga teachers to production companies and watch companies, it was brilliant. I mean, it was the only way that we could talk to a lot of people.
I guess before we do move on, I would like to ask, what are you wearing? What's on the wrist?
Wrist check.
Wrist check it.
Cool. Today I'm wearing the Zodiac Skin 53. The brand is probably known for color and for the limited editions they're doing.
The watermelon.
All about the watermelon.
No, the other one too. The Golf.
The Golf colorway.
Oh
the
my
limited
God.
edition GMT.
That thing is impossible to get.
It is.
All
you got to pay
like
like $1,000 over retail, I think.
Yeah, 1,000 over each.
Well, I'm seeing that, but it was all the different color things that I looked at, and I'll tell you how I got into Zodiac later, or what the story was, and it's close to this part of the world in San Francisco. But when I've now been with the brand and talked to them over the past year, it's the heritage. is the heritage of the brand that a lot of people might miss. So I got the 53 Skin. It's under 40 millimeters. It's their STP movement. It's all the colorway. It's all the heritage that comes from the past. And yeah, it's a different watch to me. It's a lot smaller than I'm used to, but I think it's banging.
Is the brand thinking about incorporating new materials? And
Oh yeah, I'll tell you bits that might be coming out later, but materials are a massive part of it. But I think the biggest thing and we're going off on a tangent, but Zodiac, they've kind of gone backwards to get to where they are now. Like, they know about the limited editions with Worn and Wound, with Hodinkee, Liberty of London, Huckberry. They're awesome, but they sell in seconds. So what they've got to do now, and one of the reasons why I've joined, is they want to make it a more rounded collection, more core, more stories to tell, not just about color, but still having fun with it. So that will include, in the end, fantastic dials made of certain substances, which I won't say, but they're great.
Oh.
And that also includes the materials of the metals as well. But it's a very, very exciting time for the brand. And for the last year, I'd kind of consulted for them on the side in a small way, and it snowballed recently into what it is now. The only reason why it snowballed like this is because I was like, this is amazing. Like, but also I talked to another podcast. They said this could be the easiest job you've ever had because they've got everything in place.
Yeah.
It's just a few bits we need to knit together. And that's why I reached out to you, mostly just to see how you are. But I wanted to also get the people who understand the community, because if you can tell our story, we'll back you up, and then vice versa.
Yeah,
so it's just always about the
absolutely.
people.
Oh yeah, and speaking of people, so you're a big Aston Villa FC
Oh, what are you
fan.
going to ask now?
Yeah.
Messing with my heart.
Now I'm just curious. Do you think Bissouma? You think you guys are gonna get him, and do you think that he's the fit for the FC?
It's this way. Such a terrible way. So I'm a massive Aston Villa fan, right? They have been around since 1874. They are the love of my life after my kids and my wife.
They're my favorite 15th place team.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's way better than what we've been in years.
I know.
Basuma, he's a good option, but I think we've got better coming. I think
you do?
Yeah, I do. I think there's a lot coming in with the youth. But if you ever want to watch football with me, I will come to Austin, or you come to wherever I am.
I'll go where you are.
Hey, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. There's going to be a game on against Leicester. You can see
Leg
me
is
lose
on
and
there,
cry.
baby.
If you want to see a grown man an Englishman cry, come watch me watch Aston Villa.
I know. I was like, oh, I gotta put an Aston Villa bid on that, because like the Basuma thing was like, oh man, they're trying to get the guy.
Hey man, all the years I was on the road with Bramon, Villa is a massive part of my life.
Oh yeah.
But I have friends in every city because of football. So everywhere I went, you go by yourself. So you go to a city and you'd find out the Villa fans or the football fans.
That's
You'd
right.
go to those pubs.
You have your own pub. Yeah.
Friends all over this country, and they became, they came to my wedding. I've been to their events. It shared emotional times, but more than anything, you've got to on the road find things that are fun.
Absolutely.
And for me, it was the Villa and the American fans, and I've been all over. I love it.
Hey, just know we will never have an Arsenal fan on the podcast.
Who's an Arsenal fan?
No one.
Why do you hate them so much?
Just not a fan of them,
I
man.
love it. All right, I'll stay.
You see, here you go. And another question, not pertaining to watch. Oh, technically yes.
I feel like you've gone through my Tinder profile and and looked at the things I've done in the last 6 months.
You're like, that research. That's research.
That's I would consider that deep professional research.
Swipe left.
So here's another one. What is your favorite watch podcast, and why is it Watch Cringe?
It's Watch Cringe mostly because you wear Bucky t-shirts and Crocs during it in a 5-star hotel.
It's so funny. 'cause
Squeezed into the end of a hotel room between a bed and a window.
It's so funny because it's a nice hotel. It's an expensive hotel.
But we still found a way to make it shitty.
Slum it up.
Yeah.
And we have like people who are like, you guys are actually there? That's what you're wearing? They're like, you're wearing Crocs that are see-through? It's like, yeah.
Just don't care. It's all right. Be you.
That's it. And
Was that a good answer though?
no, absolutely.
Truth.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mike is someone who appreciates Bucky's a lot. And
I've been through them
I
too
know,
many times.
so many times.
So Bucky's, they've just got one up in Dallas, I saw, so we can get the nuts there now. And
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
actually went there when I was on vacation for Easter, and I'd forgotten my swimsuit, and they go to Bucky's. I'm not having a squirrel on my bits. I'm not. No.
What successful Braemon experiences and learnings can you bring to the Zodiac brand? What are you going to bring to the table?
That's a brilliant question. I've thought about this recently. When I was with Bramon, English guy. I was in the watch industry a few years, but I didn't really do the American market. But I'd go into the stores, wanting to tell my story, wanting to tell the Bramon story of Nick and Giles. And at that time, no one cared. No one needed it. You know, the industry was doing well. It was all Swiss. But I just said, I don't really want to sell you. I want you to hear my story. And if it's 10 years from now, at least you know it. And that is the biggest thing I've got with Zodiac, because it's 140 years this year and no one knows it. Everyone knows the bits that they think they know, good or bad. So I just want to straighten it all out. Who owns it, why they own it, what the movement's all about, what we can do going forward, what we're doing better, what we can do better. But more than anything, why does a $1,500 watch mean something going forward in these stores? Because we haven't got very many retail stores, because we've done things backwards. We've done these limited editions before we've really got a massive core. So we can't service the retailers that we really want until we've got a full collection that can be turned and turned. And that's coming, that's next year. So I want people to know it now. So when it's time, when we're ready, they feel like, and I feel like, they understand us. So it's not just going in there to fill a space. I want it to work. I want it to be special.
Yeah, I definitely see a common pattern with a lot of these revival, reboot brands. You know, even when you discuss Rick Marai with Doxa, he started
Good guy.
all online first. And, you know, do you see yourselves, because right now it's a lot of online sales, do you see yourselves getting more into retail spaces?
I think that's the best place to be. As much as you know, we're right here, we're here at Wind Up and they're massive. Hodinkee are huge for us and they tell the story great. But I do believe that the watch industry is about that 6 inches. It's cheesy, but over that showcase, you can trust the guy or the girl who's telling you the story. And it's like going into a suit shop. Someone puts on the suit jacket and says, you look good or you look bad. It suits you or it doesn't. But when you put on the watch, you know right away if it sits, it fits, if it's too big, if the lugs are too wide. But also you get to hear the story and you make your opinion, not just by what someone tells you. So I think this world, especially after COVID through Zoom, I think there's a marriage of both, and it should be. So plus, you know, you go to stores to hang out and they give you free booze. So go and have a good time in it.
Yeah.
Enjoy shopping.
You have a social experience.
Yeah.
And that's what Wind Up is for a lot of, you know, micro brands and smaller brands.
But yeah,
rebooted brands.
because most of them, yeah, you're right. They have just an online presence with not much representation in brick and mortars.
Are you guys planning to be in all three this year?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't supposed to be at this one for San Francisco, but I wanted to see Rob Kaplan, who's the retailer
Topper,
out here.
baby.
He's the man.
Topper.
Topper.
I've almost bought a few things from him.
I've bought
Everybody's almost bought or has bought things from
Rob.
him.
I appreciate Rob because
He's
yeah,
got
I've bought a
great
fair bit of
prices.
stuff on him.
I thought it's about the storytelling and the experience.
Yeah,
Rob's-
the story is he doesn't charge tax.
And he will ship it. He will ship it out.
He will ship. We might have to edit that one out. Leave it on the live though.
They all know it.
But Rob sending me sending me a G-Shock wall clock after I bought like a ton of G-Shock, I appreciate that.
Do you know it was Rob and his watch that got me into Zodiac that it is
Really?
now? So after all the years of in the watch industry, I've never really bought a watch. I've earned it through a bonus. Or
That's right.
You trade things in that are yours, and I wanted an Oris, so I got an Oris, which was brilliant through VJ, and then I saw that Rob did the Pepsi dial, the GMT, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. And I was like, I want to support him. I want to get something that's his. I've known him for years, and I bought it. And then when I posted that watch online, Zodiac said thanks. They reached out. Oh, I know you're in Dallas. Could you come and have a chat with us? I'd already moved. And then it was a very nice slow burn to what is today. But, you know, Rob's a massive part of my watch life. With Ernst Benz, which is the brand I was at the start, through Bremont.
Yeah.
He was the number one retailer for Bremont. I went to his wedding, and obviously he's got this brilliant family now. So you've got to love the people that buy into your brands, but the people who buy into the brand spend their money, especially if it's an independent. Like I love the Watches of Switzerland world and these big stores, and you get to know the people. But when Rob buys it, he buys it from his money, and he invests in you, so you invest back. But he's a good lad as well. He's a good guy.
I have nothing but good things to say.
Do you know there's some brilliant personalities in the entire country, especially, I don't know massively the UK in retailers. I met them at the party. US, some good characters. Yeah. Beat you up though. They really do beat you up.
I bet.
In the best way. They demand the best for their customers.
So
In the sweetest way.
working and learning about Zodiac, what would you say is the DNA that makes Zodiac? Obviously, there's this long history. You know, what is it that they do? What is it that they do best? What's their signature?
There's two parts to it. I think I know my opinion of the history. where it is. But I'm more excited that they recognize, and I say this as they, as the Fossil, who own the group, who own the brand, they recognize it as that they are custodians of the name. To the point where for a few years they pulled the brand back. They took it out of existence and they worked on it. And the team that I'm working with now, led by a guy called TJ, which you might have seen on some other podcasts around. He's brilliant. He's at the trade shows. But him and this very, very small team looked back to these kinds of watches from the 50s and beyond. And they took design, they took elements, but they also realized that it's really special. So what I see going forward is that they look back to the right time of the brand, because it was Rolex, Blancpain, Zodiac that came out in the 50s with these dive watches that changed the game. And they don't want it to be fashion, they want it to be right. So Fossil see this as special. They've invested in a place called Antima, which is where they make the watches, and they invested in STP, which makes the movements.
The movements, yeah.
So for $1,200 to $1,500, they've got an in-house anti-shock, anti-magnetic movement that's all made by them and from their own history. So that's what I'm excited about. But, you know, there are bits that they've got to do better, but I think that they want to learn. So last week I was in Dallas and I met with Costa, who owns Fossil. He started Fossil. But he's the most humble man I've ever met. Won't do interviews, doesn't need to, because, you know, he lets the product do talking. And it was that last conversation that really solidified my thoughts. Zodiac does Zodiac. Like, they leave it alone, they put it on a pedestal, and they want it to do it right. And I was like, you're the man. Like, he's the man. So I'll do what's necessary. Like I did with Nick and Giles with Brahman. If I believe in the people, like the top people, and they believe in the project and they do it right, they don't cut corners, I'm in.
Absolutely.
They've got me.
So Fossil lets you run independently, more or less. Maybe helps with scaling concerns and kind of getting the product out.
Yeah, but it's made by Antima and the STP movement manufacturer. They make it for Zodiac, and I am not. Should we say I'm employed by Fossil, but I'm the first Zodiac only employee. Because they want that to be.
You get a special ID badge.
I just got this badge.
That's the clearance.
Have you seen it?
Oh,
but then TJ and there's a guy called John, and you saw the sales guys today. Their focus becomes more and more Zodiac, and so it's going to be a small and mighty operation, helped by the guys who are making, designing, and finishing the watches in Switzerland. But long story short, I just think the future's bloody brilliant. I think it's really exciting. So if I wanted to come back into watches, there was other brands, but more than anything, I want to do something that means something. I think this is it. I think it's got something. Don't know how big, I don't know how special, but for me, I'm excited. So
I feel like the hype around Zodiac is based on true.
It's on true enthusiasm.
Hype. Yeah.
It's not
Instagram hype.
Yeah,
not,
correct.
Celebrity hype. It's like
I
true
agree. I don't believe that any of the hype that Zodiac has. You're right. I don't think any of it is like driven by
it's
pricing.
Legitimate.
It's legitimate, true passion for the hobby. I'm curious, like, what's your favorite Zodiac?
Right now?
You're right now.
So I got a couple before, and then I got this skin now, and I'm still finding the brand. There is something coming out which has got my heart, and I can't even tell you because it's coming in October. Like, it's that cool. I'm so impressed with it.
Yeah.
And I think of it as now because I've just really discovered the brand. But if I was going to say for now that's current, I'll probably say the skin.
Zodiac is like something that just I really like, and it's because like it's genuine.
Yeah. That's what I got today from Wind Up. People saw that.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to come to see if they get it, and they get it.
So
I threw these vintage pieces right in the middle, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool. This is color." I'm like, "But it started here. Tell me about it. 3 seconds. Okay, that's banging. That works for me."
I love it.
So then they see the skins and the compressions and GMT, the world timer, and it's a good core. But they can figure it out for themselves because we're watch people. That's it. I don't need to sell it. They'll this is good.
The
I don't
story
like this
sells
bracelet.
itself.
I think the story's good. I mean, there's a lot of eulogizing of founders, and Mr. Calumet, who started Zodiac, is unknown. I want to get into that. I want to learn that. Sorry, mate. So I'm just looking at his Crocs. They look beautiful.
So, see, I hope you guys can appreciate.
He
that.
has a bottle opener on them.
He's from Austin. It's warm and there's
weird.
beer.
You know what's funny? It's like none of them. I have no friends who want to use that bottle opener.
Huh? I wonder why.
I've also walked downtown Austin. I don't want to either.
Yeah, I don't want to touch that.
And you know what's a little bit funny? So like, this is one of the few times that Mike doesn't have alcohol in his hands.
Well, that's just your fault, though, really. Is it?
Yeah, I know.
We are the host, Jay.
Shit. This is our show.
I broke into your hotel's lounge for free cookies because there was nothing and you weren't even here.
So, since we don't have that, I have a request.
Sure.
Say bottle of water.
Oh, for the sakes. It's not Love Actually.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bottle of water.
Wait, hold on.
No. We'll say
You
what
don't
you
say.
You say it.
Bawa.
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 Oh, that's.
Bawa.
You've been watching Josh Shank's English making fun stories way too much. Or it's bringing in again.
Can you say after Bangers and Mash, I have to schedule a massage at the garage?
Oh my God. I should do that in a Boston accent. It's way better.
Oh,
not me.
I could do it in a fucking Boston accent.
Oh.
Man. That was actually a bad one.
That was awful.
I need to find some fucking parking over here.
Eh.
A little better? Should I do Irish?
No, just leave it. I think it's great. I think it's really good. Listen, I was in America for 15 years and I had to do my American accent all the time. It's no problem. Man.
Whoa! That fucked me up.
Do you think I can order a sandwich in any store in Michigan with this accent? No.
Oh, absolutely not.
Definitely not. If I'm saying, can I have the lettuce off the bun?
The lettuce?
And they're like, what?
Come again.
Can I just have a glass of water? Water? No. So it was the whole time for 15 years. But I did love it here. I do love it
yeah.
here.
I bet.
How can I ask you guys a question?
You know
Okay.
what? Let's flip the
Let's
switch.
go. Flip
Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's
Just
do
a
it.
little
Mike.
one.
Flip the script.
What watch do you like that you've seen now today from Zodiac?
The watermelon.
Oh, the big boy?
Yes.
Pro Diver?
Yeah.
So this, for the world, there's only going to be a dozen of these left.
Here, can I see that?
They only made 100 of each color. And this is the thing that you're going to be learning more and more about Zodiac and what we have to do more of. The core's good. The colors come and go real quick, really, really quick. They'll come back, but when they're gone, like that one, you won't see them again.
In that exact configuration.
In that exact configuration.
So there's, when it's made, there's no plan for reissues.
So you got to think, as we started, like Rob from Toppers, he showed me a watch today they made 20 of, which you could have made 2, 3, 4, 500 of.
Yeah.
But that one there, they made 100. And that is also about, budgeting. They don't want to overextend themselves. They don't want to be left with stock that won't turn. It is a bright colored watch. It might not work for everybody.
Takes a particular.
Yeah. But now it's got this recipe and people see it. I think they'll get it right. So there's a lot to be said about the watch there. But that's a good example of it. But
Yeah, this is absolutely my favorite Zodiac that I saw today. Excluding, of course, the vintages.
yeah, so that was your favorite. So the size, that's 42 millimeters.
It's a little thicky.
Yeah,
But
it works.
as far as vintage goes, it's that one right there. Oh my God. Yes.
If you don't know the collection, have a look. Actually, there's some really good. If you follow the vintage Zodiacs on Instagram, you'll see a very, very small hardcore group of collectors, and they're brilliant. They really are brilliant. But they show you all that stuff.
So before we started the podcast, we were talking about how Michael has brought all of these cool original boxes, and we were told that the collectors were actually the ones to basically kind of safeguard these throughout the years. And it's great to hear that a brand can connect with these collectors on that level and have them help the brand kind of reignite. It's really great to see.
There's a guy, and if you have notes in your podcast, or I'll give you the name. It's Yuri. I forget the last name. A Canadian writer went back and I've got a book this thick, and it's about 200 pages of pure Zodiac, from the dials, the
That's
hands,
amazing.
all
so
the back
amazing.
catalog. And this is a collector, and he's a watchmaker, I believe, in Canada. But I'll link you the book. It's like $100 book that was in, and you can't find the book anywhere now, but legit.
That
So
is
I'm learning
awesome.
through. We have to learn through the
We're looking
collectors.
at the collectors. They maintain the story.
Yeah, but they've also got their
Oh.
dad's watches or their granddad's
Yeah.
watches, because in the 50s when these came out, they were service watches. There was Rolex and there was Zodiac, and I've got a lot of Vietnam stories that have come through even in the last few weeks that I've talked to the service guys, and they want to talk. They want to share their story, because this is not the brand that's ever been asked, tell me about your watch. It's always about your sub or your Speedy, and now they want to talk about Zodiac. So it's cool. It's really cool.
Good, dude. That's like, I'm getting giddy just because it's the feeling of elation in the hobby.
I actually have. I mean, this is the first time I've spoken on a podcast about a watch in three and a half years.
Yeah.
I love it as well, because I know why I've come back, and I know, I'm going to invest my life, my family's life into this. But it is cool. I mean, it's stupid, and we love it. So many people love it, but we've all put our entire lives into these things on our wrists, so we might as well enjoy it as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. Tell you what though, when I when I left Bremont and then with COVID happened and I left the industry, it was brilliant in a way because we were all at home, we're all on a computer, and I started to expand my vocabulary in watches. I've only really been with Bremont for the longest time, and so we managed to flip a few away, and I started to talk to people like Don from Vertex, or you got the guys from Schofield, or you get to meet the people from Fears. This is the British watch industry when I'm over there.
Oh, I love Fears.
Mate, I loved I absolutely went nuts. And so Vertex and Schofield and those stories and those people, it was the same again for me, but it re-energized me. Obviously now coming to Zodiac, and they've got more of a platform to be in retail.
How about
what I love about Don Cochran, who we're actually having on
Sunday,
he's the great grandson of the founder of Vertex.
Yeah, like there's connection.
That's an actual bloodline connection. It's amazing.
We've had some good times over the last couple of years, and a few chats here and there to help him maybe on his way to understand how I look at the watch industry. But it was a post that he'd put on Instagram, or Vertex had put on, of a World War II plane that was shot up and how to look at the structure of the plane. I reposted it, I think, a year ago as well. But with that, you see that there are so many people that look at things differently, not about where you're hit, but how the body of that plane survived. And that's the bit to look after, because that's the reason why the plane flew. And he looked three-dimensionally at how the brand should be. And he's great with materials, but he's an independent guy. And he really wants it to work, and he does it well. And he is involved in every single sale, be it good or for bad, service or not. But he's the man, and there's so many of them. So when I was with Bremont, I'll always be a Bremont guy. It was part of my life. But you blinkered. With Zodiac, it's going to take up a lot of time. It's a big job, but I am so much more open to knowing more about it all. So Wind Up is the perfect place to meet you guys, to meet everybody. But it's all through having a beer, talking about bloody watches. But we've got to have fun with it, and we've got to get out there again. The world's open. But I'm looking forward to meeting more people and talking about more stuff. And I want to learn as well. I don't know anything. I knew one brand for the longest time. I got a whole lot more to learn. So I want to learn from the consumers and from people that have had it in the past.
So another question. Why do you guys eat baked beans for breakfast?
Don't mess with baked beans. Listen, I'm telling you. Beans on toast, beans on jacket potatoes, beans with eggs, it rocks. But it's not your kinds of beans. There's no bacon and all kinds of salt and preservatives. It's beans in a tin on whatever you want, and it just makes the world good.
No.
Mate, I stopped eating meat 2.5 years ago, and I was in Texas, and my jeans were too skinny. I don't own a gun, and I don't drive a truck, so no one trusted me. But baked beans saved my life when I stopped eating meat.
the bean connection, dude.
You have no. Yeah, it's not quite the frijoles that you've got. This is not what I've got when I'm eating my Mexican food in Texas and my Tex-Mex. My English baked beans in the ethnic aisle. I'm down there getting it.
Yeah, what's the breakfast? It's like beans and like tomatoes.
No,
right?
It's good. No? It's very good. Yeah, you got fried egg, sausage, bacon.
I mean,
fried bread.
Those are good.
Yeah,
but why would you put beans?
You've got to. When you come to England, I'll show you around. Beans are good on everything. Cheese is good on everything. And cheese, great on everything.
So what do the brands get up to after hours? You guys have some crazy parties? Any crazy party stories?
Yeah, I've definitely been to a couple with Mike.
Yeah. There's been a lot of stories that I will never say on the podcast.
Yeah.
What happens in the watch industry stays in the watch industry. No, it doesn't. Basel, Vegas, get nuts. Like it does, because it's the first time you can really share the stories, and you make fun of the people you've met on the road, but you can also share war stories, and you got to boost yourselves up. But yeah, the road's a weird one, because if you're on your own, when you meet other reps, you've got that I'm going to dinner. But when you're on your own, you find your own fun. For me, I was learning about America and opening Bremont through going to Tigers baseball games. You've also got to pace yourself, because you're up at 3 or 4 in the morning to get a flight, and you're off. So on the road, as long as you can pace yourself, you're all right.
As long as you get the beans in the morning, right?
Beans in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
or at night. It works.
Do you really eat the beans at night?
We're going on this morning.
We're going back on the beans thing.
Anything on toast is an English thing. Anything on toast. That's a good question, though. I didn't expect Beans Villa.
Oh, absolutely.
Or the breach of Zoom security.
Let's go back to the breach of the Zoom security.
Which was the British Prime Minister's fault, by the way, because he took a picture on Twitter with his meeting code
That's
on
right.
there, and they took that away. That was the only thing. Blame Boris for everything.
Oh, you can blame that guy for a lot.
Yeah, a
Hell
lot
of a
of
lot.
things. So what are you looking forward? What are you most excited about for Zodiac?
For Zodiac, I think it's getting it right. You can talk to any of the retailers. I mean, we've got to get service right. And I think it's the worst thing in the watch industry is how you can get a hold of a person, or when a watch is sent in, how can you track it? And, you know, if the watch is going to take 6 months to fix, tell them it's 6 months. If you tell them it's 3 weeks and it's 6 months, you're going to be annoyed. I want it to be right. I want that bit to be right. And that's going to be a big job. But if I can get people trusting Zodiac, I think we can all be excited that it will sell and you can make cool products. But I want to get out there again. I mean, my kids are old enough now to not feel guilty of leaving my wife at home. And probably after COVID, she wants me out of the house a bit more. And
I bet. She was like stuck with you in
I
there.
talk way too much, as you see. But I want to see people again. And I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, even this chat has made me really excited for that. So it is getting out again and making Zodiac, along with the team, what I think it could be.
Hey, that you guys heard that? Zodiac. I think that I agree. Zodiac has a lot of room to grow.
A lot of room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mate, no, and please know, we know there are bits that need to be better, but the watches are good. Like, the movements are really good. I mean, and they'll only get better.
I actually don't know much about the movements.
So think of it as our version of an Etta. But in terms of the decoration, it's a workhorse. But I've had Etta watches where, you know, I put them down for the day and they stop, and, you know, there's different power reserves. These things keep going, and they're only getting better as well. There's the 111 and the 313, but to have 70% of the collection to say you're in-house, and it's got, you know, silicon and it's anti-shock, and, you know,
Oh,
it's
shit.
all...
They have that?
Yeah, they have to be. That's what people don't know. It's doing it right. So the anti-shock, anti-magnetic, most of them, and they're all around $1,200 to $1,500. So, but if I'd have said that with the brands I've been with before, you're like, this is amazing. But because again, you might have these connotations of who it's owned by. Just understand they're custodians of it. Or I'm not sure because it's come back and gone a few times. Yeah, it did. They did it for a reason. They know they messed up. But the history's sound and the watches are good. And if you look at the designs, yeah, they're doing it right.
I'm feeling good about that. You want to wrap it up on that and do a little ASMR? We actually forgot to thank our sponsors.
Oh, actually, you know what? Sponsor for today is actually for real.
You got a sponsor? This is big time.
Thanks to Zodiac.
Thanks to Zodiac, full sponsorship.
Oh, we did this?
Thanks to Zodiac for it.
Yeah, we'll be billing you the hotel room check.
Invoiced.
We pay in beans.
What ASMR would we have so many options.
One of the Zodiac. What's the best bezel?
This is the 68. This is a limited edition. It's not that loud, but it's a push-down turn bezel.
Oh shit!
All right?
Keep on going. Keep on going. Yeah.
This is what we do here on
Yeah,
Watch Cringe.
we always do one.
But it's a cool look. Thanks, Jay.
Now let's go get shit-faced at the Formex event.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Oh man!
See you next
Hey,
time.
see you guys. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate it.